And we continue to track showers and a few thunderstorms moving across the area. I've got your trick-or-treating forecast coming up.
We're also tracking a series of attacks on WeGo bus stops, the impact this vandalism is having on riders. And despite political tensions rising ahead of Election Day, you're going to meet two ladies here in Middle Tennessee that are overcoming their differences to stand together.
This is a News 2 Weather Alert.
Well, welcome to News 2 at 3. I'm Mark Kelly, and we are weather alert this afternoon. We are tracking that band of rain moving in from West Tennessee. Chief Meteorologist Danielle Breezy joining us now. Now, this is shaping up, unfortunately, to be a wet Halloween for many of us, Danielle.
That is right. We've got showers and even a few rumbles of thunder moving across our area as we speak, Mark. As you look at Storm Tracker Radar Network, the line of storms pushing across I-65, mainly just general showers of the heaviest downpours from, say, Brentwood to Franklin, Spring Hill to Columbia. And that is all moving east at about 25 miles per hour. So I did put a storm tracker on this one for you. As this rain continues to push in, Murfreesboro, you see this just before 4 o'clock. 423 in Shelbyville, 505 in Manchester, Cookeville 513, and 528 in McMinnville. Now that's just the leading edge of the weather. Cold front pushing through. There's more rain filling in behind it, but there could be some areas that are times of dry. There is no marginal risk anymore, so that's some good news, but we could still see some heavy rain and wind with any storms that get going. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on from our And again, Berg Exteriors camera in Dixon. We've got lots of rain out there. Winds are also gusting out of the south at about 25 miles per hour in Columbia. Temperatures right now pretty mild, but if you've had rain like in Antioch, you're at 65 degrees, still in the upper 70s from Gallatin to Mount Juliet to Brentwood as well. Let's talk a little bit more about that all-important Halloween trick-or-treating forecast. Mummy's excited. He's inside staying dry, but I will tell you, if you're taking the kids out around 6 o'clock, temperatures should be in the mid-70s, falling back into the 60s by 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, showers will be around, I think, for most of the trick-or-treating period. Now, there could be some dry times, too, and then there's a big cool-down coming behind this. We'll talk more about it coming up, Mark.
All right, Danielle, appreciate it. And to keep up with the latest on severe weather in your neighborhood, stay with us online and, of course, download our free news app as well. Tracking crime in West Nashville, a teen is behind bars after he's accused of bringing a loaded gun to school this morning. We're talking about Pearl Cone High School. Metro Police say that 16-year-old student was caught by administrators with the loaded handgun in his backpack. And now he's charged in juvenile court for possession of a weapon on school property. We're also following this breaking news alert. Metro Police chased down a man after they caught him in the middle of a drug deal and say he tried to run. Alicia Wimberly is at the WKRN.com alert desk. All right, Alicia, what are these details?
That's right, Mark. Apparently, the 21-year-old stole a Dodge Charger with guns and drugs inside. Police say Anton Maupin fled from a traffic stop in East Nashville, but the Charger was stolen in Clarksville. Investigators saw Maupin conduct a drug transaction and tried to stop him with spike strips on the road. Well, Maupin got out of the car on Bell Road and ran. He was quickly taken into custody. A handgun, multiple bags of marijuana, meth, and pills were found inside the car. Police saw Maupin. Also, he had cocaine inside his pocket. Now, he is charged with drug and weapon possession, evading arrest, and motor vehicle theft. Mark.
Alicia, thank you. Also tracking crime. Do you recognize this red car? Metro Police linked it to vandals who are shattering glass at WeGo bus shelters. In fact, a dozen were damaged just last week. Now let's go to News 2's Corey Johnson. She's following that investigation.
That's right, Mark. According to WeGo public transit officials, now they tell me 12 more bus shelters were recently vandalized. Their windows shattered last Thursday around 10 p.m. Police believe the person responsible is using an airsoft gun to do it. The damage was at shelters primarily along Murfreesboro Pike and 12th Avenue South. The News 2 captured this video this afternoon as crews repaired the broken glass at one of the shelters that were damaged, not even a block from Metro Nashville Police Department. Last week's damage comes after 20 stops had their glass shattered along Gallatin Pike only a month ago. Transit officials say the replacements cost several $1,000s to replace each glass panel and take time away from the positive growth of the stops across the city.
It's disheartening, and mainly because these folks should be out improving shelters for other riders, which is something that we've been doing for some time now. I mean, we put in 300 shelters just within the last few years. That's taking from this work.
Now, riders who have to wait at these shelters to catch the bus tell me they're tired of the vandalism. You'll hear more from them coming up on News 2 at 4:30. Mark.
And it just keeps happening. All right, Corey, thank you. Tracking crime in South Nashville. A man accused of firing at a Metro officer around 2:30 this morning on Plus Park Boulevard. Now, that officer was responding to a domestic dispute when he saw 66-year-old John Carney chasing a woman, threatening to kill her. Shots were fired. The woman told the officer Carney was armed. Now, when that officer approached Carney, he threw the handgun into a wooded area before he was taken into custody. Carney is charged with domestic assault, aggravated assault, as well as aggravated assault on an officer. No injuries were reported. A North Nashville business with a long history of shootings is now ordered to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. Two of the owners of the Star Market appear in Davidson County Court this morning. Back in June, they were arrested on charges including money laundering, organized retail crime, and attempted theft of property. Now, Metro Police say the business was responsible for hundreds of calls for service. It was shut down due to a court-ordered action under Tennessee's public nuisance law. Well, now they've paid those fines. The market is allowed to reopen at their discretion, but also face criminal charges if they violate nuisance guidelines again. Well, early voting ends today in Tennessee, and if you voted in Mount Juliet, you might have noticed a rare show of unity at the polls. News 2's Sam Commenti had a chance to meet with Cheryl and Brandy. These are two voters. They are on opposite sides of the aisle, but they become friends while campaigning together for their respective parties. Sam, what a great story.
That's right, Mark. These two women didn't even know each other when they first started campaigning outside of Mount Juliet Polling Center 2 weeks ago. In that short time, they've become friends in an experience they both described as enlightening. Cheryl Hood Key and Brandy Bird have vastly different political ideologies. In a display of unity that is seldom seen in politics today, Cheryl and Brandy quickly bonded over their love of the same cough drops. They built off that random piece of common ground and have spent the past 14 days standing side by side with their different signs for 8 to 10 hours each day. They bring each other food, they make each other laugh, all while reminding passersby that it's possible to get along with the other side.
People give us weird looks, like when we're sitting there, you know, laughing or something. We had a jogger. Remember the jogger? Yeah. The jogger stopped and wanted to get a picture of us with our signs because we were laughing.
Normal. We could have stood out here all day.
Like,
Never talk.
Here's what it is. Imagine us running into Kroger without all this. That's what did it. You know, just connecting as people.
Cheryl and Brandy told me they do not talk politics. That topic is off limits. Instead, they make jokes, they stay positive, and Cheryl blasts music all day. Mainly YMCA by the Village People, which Brandy says she's come to hate given how much Cheryl plays it. The two women will be out again on Election Day, waving their colors, but mainly encouraging people to go out and vote. Mark?
We need more people like that in the world. That's great, Sam. Thank you so much. And while early voting is about to wrap up in Tennessee, in Kentucky, just getting started. You're looking at the long line forming outside one polling location in the Louisville area this morning. Now, folks in Kentucky can vote early today through Saturday.
A team traffic alert right now monitoring some slower speeds out on the roadway. I want to take you to I-40 east of Broadway. If you're headed eastbound near exit 209, definitely slowing down. If you look close on our TDOT SmartWay cameras, you can see the roadway is definitely slick with those droplets of rain Danielle was just telling us about. So you'll want to take your time, slow going for you, because typically when we see rain out on the roadway, it leads to crashes, vehicle breakdowns, a lot of things that we definitely don't want, especially on Halloween. Taking a look at 24 West, moving a touch slow for us near Shelby Avenue if you're headed near exit 49 as well. And those slower speeds really congested for us in the Berry Hill community along 440 East all the way to the I-24 junction. Moving slow for us. Taking a look at 24 at Briley Parkway. If you're headed eastbound, not only do you have those clouds, but you also have this view. Lots of congestion for us near exit 53 at this hour. And speaking of stalled vehicles, there we go. I-65 south of Armory Drive. If you are headed southbound, near exit 78. Looks like we do have an incident right now on that right-hand shoulder. Emergency officials, TDOT crews out there. It actually looks like they are assisting a driver that's in the ditch in that area. So you'll definitely want to slow down and move over since we have those emergency vehicles out there. Taking a look at our drive times across the board, starting to get a little bit higher for us because of the wet conditions. If you are headed out toward Murfreesboro, sits a couple minutes over an hour mark.
Corey, thank you so much. Frustration in Antioch over long 911 wait times. What city leaders are doing to speed up the response. And nearly 30 years after closing, the memories of the Opryland USA theme park still live on. You're going to hear from the man who was mayor in its heyday. And also, of course, it's Halloween today, the spookiest day of the year. So we want to know, do you believe in ghosts? You could weigh in right now. Use your phone or scan that QR code that's on the screen, or just go to WKRN.com. We put the poll right at the top of the homepage, and we're going to check on those results coming up in the next half hour.